good, y'all, man? We back with another reaction. This is the second one I recorded today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep this Oregon theme going right now, cause, like I said earlier, we in Oregon, so I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta come out here and explore and venture. Now, that's been a big thing. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers going to like haunted places in their city and stuff like that. So, what I'm thinking about doing right now is looking up the most haunted places in Oregon and see, like, you know what I'm saying, would I be able to make it if I went out there? Let's get straight to the video though, cause I'm about to be eating. Y'all know how I get.
From aged lighthouses looming over forested coastlines whose bounds harbor the ghosts of keepers long deceased, to historic and sprawling psychological facilities where it's rumored the paranormal activity can get downright insane. Are you ready for some of the most haunted places in Oregon?
Are you ready?
Number 5, Lithia Park.
Lithia Park.
Lithia Park, located off Winburn Way alongside Ashland Creek in downtown Ashland, Oregon, is a 100-acre public expanse recognized as the city's largest and most central park. Historically, in 1852, the site that now acts as Lithia's entrance once held a flour mill, owned and operated by Abel and Helman Eber Emery, that was actually one of the first structures within what is now Ashland. In 1908, City Council would form and elect a park commission and would set aside buildings bordering the property for park use. And in 1914, landscape architect John McLaren was hired to improve upon the grounds.
First off, the dude who's talking over this, why is he always doing the top 10 videos? I see he's always, Flight B reacting to this dude, he's always doing the top 10 or most haunted or most expensive, like, I know this dude voice from anywhere, first off. Second of all, if it's nothing that's even close by me, you know what I'm saying, obviously it's grits. Like, I'm not driving 5 hours to go find ghosts. So we're looking for stuff that's close by.
Sadly, in 1974, and a flexible range labeled as cost first constructed in the 93 feet in height that boasts the title of being the tallest lighthouse in the whole of the state. Interestingly enough, this tower was first constructed in Paris, France in 1868 and was later shipped to Oregon, where it was first illuminated in 1873 alongside the construction of a 2-story keeper's house and oil house. In 1923, a 1-story keeper's house was constructed. In 1938, the original 2-story was replaced with another 1-story home, and in 1939, the U.S. Coast Guard would assume management of the entire station. In 1966, the lighthouse was fully automated, resulting in the property's abandonment sans occasional maintenance. In 1980, the Yaquina Head Outstanding Natural Area was established, and in 1984, both former keepers' abodes, along with all associated outbuildings, were demolished. In 1993, the light was listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and in 1997, it would open its Yaquina Head Interpretive Center, offering exhibits and education of the area's history. The Yaquina Head Lighthouse remains in operation, with tours available on a limited first-come, first-served basis. In recent times, a number of stories surrounding the light's many purported hauntings have surfaced, with frequent reports of extreme cold spots in summer, shadowy figures that stalk the living, accounts of navigational equipment malfunctioning on nearing vessels, and encounters with a range of full-bodied apparitions. One more popular tale tells of a dog who, in 1998, fell from the nearby cliffside. It's documented that rescue workers arrived and could hear him barking from somewhere below, but then, inexplicably, that he was suddenly right beside them, as if an unknown force had lifted him from peril. Another story claims that at one point, a construction worker fell to his death within the tower, and that his body became lodged inside of its double wall, after which, following failed recovery efforts, he was literally built into the structure. One final fable tells of assistant keeper Herbert Higgins, who it said collapsed and died suddenly when another assistant keeper, Frank Story, became too drunk to fulfill his duties. While this fiction has since been disproved, as Higgins and Story never actually worked the light at the same times, it has since been discovered that one assistant did and reported ghostly footsteps at night knocking from within its walls, and the unshakable feeling of being closely watched. Ground and located primarily beneath the old town footsteps at night knocking from within its walls, and the unshakable feeling of being closely watched. Number 3, the Shanghai Tunnels.
Shanghai Tunnels, you heard of that?
The Shanghai Tunnels, also known as the Old Portland Underground, and located primarily beneath the Old Town and Chinatown neighborhoods of Portland, Oregon, is a series of tunnels connecting the basement of various hotels, restaurants, and taverns to an underground mecca spilling towards waterfront at the Willamette that are claimed to have been used by those who kidnapped or shanghaied their victims in bars before forcing them to work for years at sea. Historically, pioneers began arriving to the Portland area circa the 1840s, and in 1851, Portland was incorporated with a population of just 800. As the town expanded and evolved, a number of tunnels were built beneath it. Many of these tunnels were purposed in venerable trades, such as moving goods to the docks as basement storage areas, or even to allow for businesses to avoid streetcar traffic. But by the late
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. None of these look scary so far, fool. But I feel like I can go to all these places.
19th century, Portland had become a much different place and boasted a reputation as one of the most dangerous port cities in the world. As the years flew by, the tunnels would play home to opium dens, underground casinos, and brothels, and through Prohibition, they were utilized to smuggle liquor into the city until the 1940s, when they became increasingly dilapidated and eventually unsafe, resulting in their closure to the public. Today, tours of the Shanghai Tunnels are offered by the Cascade Geographic Society, and though much of the original system is collapsed or inaccessible, work is currently underway to reopen more portions for future touring. Disturbingly, during their nefarious days, a number of
Hold on, so there's a lot of people that already toured it. Shanghai Tunnels.
victims were beaten and then locked in sections of the tunnel without light for days. And while some were later retrieved, many were left to wander through the dark until death found them. In the present, those who have braved the catacomb-like expanse have reported extreme cold spots, the constant feeling of being watched from the shadows, disembodied voices and screams, and the sense that they are unwelcomed. Many who have taken tours of the dements have described the feeling of someone or something tugging at their clothing or hair, shadowy figures that stalk the living, run-ins with full-bodied apparitions in clothing spanning the eras, and encounters with a ghost dubbed Sam, who's been known to turn lights on and off and move objects around. Lastly, and most infamous,
Well, I can tell y'all right now, I won't be going to that. That's all I need to hear. Mr. Sam, no smoke.
are fables surrounding Nina, Old Town Pizza's resident spirit. Originally, Old Town held the Merchant Hotel, which was constructed in 1880, and Nina is said to have been a working girl who traded information to missionaries attempting to cleanse the city. Sadly, Nina's body was eventually discovered at the bottom of one of the elevator shafts, with all signs suggesting that she'd been pushed. Her spirit has been sighted within Old Town, as well as in the tunnels below it, usually accompanied by the scent of perfume, and has even been known to hold full conversations with select living.
A good question is, how do I get started trading? A better question is, how do I profit
Y'all know what I'm
today?
finna say, man.
Well, I can tell you.
I'm paying for YouTube Plus right now.
Number 2, the Oregon State Hospital. The Oregon State Hospital, located off Center Street Northeast in Salem, Oregon, is a public psychiatric hospital and museum recognized at
That's by us. The Oregon State Hospital.
They talking about the mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This shit is close.
We took hell yeah, it's just like 4 or 5 minutes away.
It was 4 or 5 and stuff. This shit right here is good. Not gonna lie. I make a. Was you ever going there? Huh?
We took a field trip there.
This shit really spooky.
Man, hell nah. It's like, I don't know. It probably is haunted like a motherfucker though. Shit. That hoe is old as shit.
Is that where them old people was at?
Bro. Nothing but geezers.
No, I'm talking about. Remember when we went out there? It was the old people home. No, it's the old people home. I'm talking about. I think. Or is that the same shit?
Oh, no, that's not the same. That's not a hospital.
Is the hospital closed down or it's still open?
The hospital's still open. It's a mental illness.
We may end up sliding here. You never know.
It is one of the oldest operating facilities of its type in the state and one of the oldest across the whole of the West Coast that's grown in renown after its featuring as the set of the 1975 film production of the 1962 Ken Kesey novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Historically, following the closure of its earlier campus in Portland, the facility would open in 1883 as the Oregon Hospital for the Insane and would specialize in electroconvulsive therapies, lobotomies, eugenics, and hydrotherapy. Though the hospital would begin expansion of its campus in 1900, by the mid-20th century, the facility would succumb to severe overcrowding, hitting a peak of nearly 3,600 patients. In 1913, the organization would undergo a name change to the Oregon State Hospital. Through the early 21st century, it would fall under heavy scrutiny for its dilapidated facilities and outdated treatment plans. And chillingly, in 2005, 5,000 canisters of unclaimed human remains were located within the building structure. In 2008, several ruined portions of the hospital were torn down and rebuilt. In 2009, construction was started on a more modernized facility, which was completed in 2011. And during this same period, the Museum of Mental Health was established within the old building. The Oregon State Hospital campus remains open to this day, both to visitors and to patients, and is included within the 130-acre Oregon State Hospital Historic District, which boasts a number of facilities spread across.
If this video hits, I want to say, only way I'm going to do some shit like this is if this video hits 100, let's say 150, I'm going to say 200 views. Within 3 days, now I'll do this video. If not, this wraps. Because this shit right here will literally have me like staying awake for the rest of my fucking life. I'll be playing that paranormal stuff.
Across buildings both old and new. Disturbingly, through its years, countless lives have been lost within this infamous institute, many to accidents, illness, neglect, abuse, and suicide. From 1883 to 1913, the hospital would establish its very own cemetery, and proceeding 1913, when land was ordered to be freed up for other uses, what happened to said bodies is uncertain, though some suspect they may make up a good portion of the canned remains mentioned earlier. Additionally, in 1942, 47 lives were lost and countless others permanently afflicted when a poison used for killing bugs and pests was dumped into foodstuffs by mistake. Across campus grounds, staff, workmen, and visitors have reported extreme cold spots in the heat of summer. Objects indoors sighted moving by themselves.
Why does he keep saying extreme cold spots? Is that like a sign that you're near like paranormal activity or some shit? Like, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not the type of right dude to be doing stuff like this, because if I'm really going to experience some paranormal activity, everything that I do from after that stuff starts is going to be rated R. Like, it's not going to be nothing nice. So I won't even probably be able to record the rest of that stuff. I may go viral for real. We'll see. There's one more haunted place left, but I pretty much got my mind made up. I'll probably go to this one right here if I do slide to one of them.
And abnormally fast battles which should exceed the tavern located off from parents. Number 1, the Wolf Creek Inn and Tavern. The Wolf Creek Inn and Tavern, located off Front Street
You know
in
what
Wolf
tavern
Creek,
is?
Oregon, is a historic lodging and restaurant boasting the title of being the oldest operating inn and tavern not just in the state, but in the whole of the Pacific Northwest. Historically, an early building was constructed on site in 1883 by one Henry Smith, who would utilize it as a stagecoach stop along the Applegate Trail, namely for those traveling between Portland and San Francisco. And later, in 1925, its southern wing was added to accommodate for more guests. In the golden era of
Yeah, honestly, his voices started creeping me out way more than any of the places that he been talking about. So we gonna go to the mental hospital, Oregon State Hospital. If you know what I'm saying, this video hit. I want to see if I see it. This shit does look familiar, but I don't know for sure. Did we pass by this already?
What?
This
Hell yeah.
we did.
Okay.
I didn't even notice, man. So yeah, I probably try to see about going to this. If this video hit, let's go with 200 in the next 2 days, 3 days. If it hit 200, I'll slide to it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm lucky scared. That's why my whole mood changed. But y'all already know what I'm finna say, man. Subscribe, like, comment. If you got any other reaction videos you wanna watch me do, hit me up on my DMs at Bryce the Goat, or you can put it in the comment section below. Other than that, we about to get on out of here.